What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and today I will be coming at you guys to talk about Harpies. Yes, I'm going to finally drop my Harpie deck profile for you all for the month of May. It's been a minute, I know. Look, things have happened. Mainly work, because my bills gotta be paid. The other is that there was an update for YGL. I'm sorry, not YGL, ED Pro, and it took a minute for the upload and stuff, which I did get that to work. And then for the most part, I've been just busy doing a lot of other things, so I never really got a chance to actually sit down and record the deck itself. Well, I finally get the chance to now, especially with all of you, and I know you guys are very excited to see what build I have conspired with Harpies for the month of May. So, why don't I go ahead and get started? So, first off, let's talk about the monster lineup. I'm running 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpie Lady, 2 copies of Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire Blast, 2 copies of Harpie Harpist, 2 copies of Harpie Oracle, 2 copies of Nerval from the Tri Brigades, as well as 1 copy of Curses, 1 Apex Avian, 1 Set Shield of Stormwind, and last but not least in the monster lineup is 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. For the spells, 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 3 copies of Elegant Egoist, 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Duster, 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Rest, 1 copy of Alluring Mirror Split, and 2 copies of Unexpected Die. For the trap cards, 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm and 1 copy of Hysteric Party. Then for the extra deck, 2 copies of our girl Cyber / Harpie Lady, 1 copy of Harpie Connector, 1 copy of Ancient Warrior Oath, Double Dragon Lords, 1 copy of Ferrigy, the Burden Blossom, 1 copy of Simorg, the Bird of Sovereignty, 1 copy of Shirag, the Ominous Omen, 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of Chidori, 1 copy of Ice Beast Zero Fine, the Utopia package, all the way to Utopia the Lightning, featuring Utopia Ray. Then 1 copy of Double A Zeus, Sky Thunder, and 1 copy of Ray Raptor Arsenal Falcon. So that pretty much rounds up the main and the extra deck. So why don't we go ahead and talk about it? So, I'm just probably just gonna go everywhere at this point. Starting off with Harpie Channeler, she is of course our big summoner. Discard a Harpie card to summon a Harpie monster. We get to play around with 7s. For we have the introduction of Fearsome Fire Blast. I am questioning the total number of Fearsome Fire Blast that I want to run because this is an amazing monster. Which I will get into very shortly. But yeah, for the most part, Harpie Channeler's effects are all going to be utilized here for Link Summoning, Synchro Summoning, Exceed Summoning, massive pops of back row with Hunting Ground, just an all-around amazing monster. Second to her is Harpie Perfumer, who Perfumer can search for any spells or traps specifically this Harpie Lady Sisters in its text from your deck to your hand. While you control level 5 or higher Harpie monster, of course you're able to add an additional card. I am running at least one high level, no, not one, 2 variations of high level Harpie monsters in the deck, so that way I can take massive advantage of this monster's ability. As far as the targets go, I mean, they're pretty basic, simple targets. Hunting Ground, Elegant Egoist, Alluring Mirror Split, and Harpie's Feather Eyes. Just so that there is still that variety. And at least that those are the things that can easily help the Harpies in terms of the combos and stuff that I do in the deck. Now, moving on, Harpie Lady. Now, I'm not running Harpie Lady 1, I'm not running Cyber Harpie. Their options, preferably I would say, if not Harpie Lady 1, then at least Harpie Lady. Now, why Harpie Lady? This is simply just due to the fact that Harpie Lady herself is a great target for the Unexpected Die. Why I cut into that? Because Unexpected Die is a great spell. It allows you to summon any level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck while you control no monsters. For being that Harpies have a ton of combos and you at least need a Harpie a Harpie lady already on the field, why not go ahead and just, use the original Harpie lady herself? It helps speed up so many different processes with so many different things you can easily do when it comes to situations that you desperately need to get out of. Or desperately need to start your combo. So I'm sorry, I don't say desperately situations to get out of. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. The combos that you desperately want to start, but unfortunately, we don't have a Harpie that's like a Cyber Dragon or an Evil Swarm Matagandra, where you can just simply just drop the card onto the field without much restrictions or just, a free summon or a free setup. So that's where the unexpected dot comes in. Also, remember, she is your elegant egotist target, and if you don't want to run her, of course, you can always run Cyber, you can run Lady One, or you can even run Harpie Lady Sisters, and that is just, of course, another big monster to help out with other big plays and other big setups that Harpies are known for. Because with Oracle and Perfumer, that at least gives them that level 5 or higher Harpie monster so that they can relegate their own abilities through their own effects. Then, on top of that, which is not too bad, um, well, I have a video up for Harpy Lady Sisters, so I do explain a lot more key pieces to it, but in just the gist of it, if you haven't already seen the video, please do. I'll leave a link to it. Um, yeah, it's pretty much just a basic. You need a high level Harpy to play around with their Ghost Sisters, and at least another target for Elegant Egotist to summon. So, with that said and done, we move on to the big brute itself. Harpie's pet dragon, Fearsome Firefly. So, within talking about this monster, I do actually have to bring up Harpie's pet baby dragon just for a minute. Now, with Harpie's pet baby dragon in this card, a lot of people are talking about the whole lock that can be created. I really don't care too much about the clock. I'm also going to bring these two out as well for other reasons. But yeah, for the most part, I really don't care too much for the lock that is created between this dragon and that dragon, because the thing is, none of them deal with effects. They only deal with battle. Most things are going to wipe out your board or attempt to wipe out your board before such. And the other thing you would really want to protect would most likely be your barrier statue of the Stormwind, which at that point, barrier statue of the Stormwind, it is not a it is not a Harpy monster, so that kind of relegates it there as well. So at that point in time, and I do say this with the, biggest breath of, is that it's a good effect in theory, but the execution is not something that I'm going to pay much attention to. And because of that, I'm just simply going to just stick with, the whole basis of, hey, I at least got this Harpy monster on the field, and I'm just going to go ahead and use it for what it's meant for, which is the extension part, because it's a great way to send Harpy Harpies to the graveyard. It's a great way to send their Val to the grave. There's a ton of other winged beast monsters that you can easily send to the graveyard through this monster's effect, and it tremendously helps out in terms of combos, in terms of setups, in terms of all the other plays. Being as that May, I did say this with Channeler, we get a main deck dragon that doesn't suck and can be very, very useful to the archetype. So yeah, that all feathers in right there. Moving on, Harpies. Now, there's a double Harpies, there's a double Oracle, but you don't see a Queen or a Dancer in sight. Um, being as that may, the search that Oracle gives, that Harpies gives, relatives herself to 1, 2, and 3. Which, in a case in point, you don't really want Dancer in your hand, and Queen, unfortunately, got upstaged by all the newer Harpies after her. Because, okay, I need a hunting ground. I can just play Perfumer. Um, I think at the point that people did want to play the multiple Queen, just so that Queen could have some searches, but even then, it's just like, nah, I'm good. And if I do live my hunting ground, I can just, have Harpy Oracle to go retrieve it. So, yeah, I'm not sorry for Queen or Dancer. It's just they unfortunately, like many other cards, just floated out. And it's not like they're bad cards. It's just that the situation does not require them as much as it used to or it needs to. So, moving on from there, let's talk about Harpie Oracle. She's able to retrieve Harpie cards from your graveyard to your hand. That specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters in its text. That is a great addition to Harpies because we didn't have anything to really retrieve ourselves on trap cards, and now we have something that does. Being the fact that the only card that was able to access and retrieve was Hysteric Sign to retrieve Harpie, to retrieve Alien Egotus. That was pretty much the only basis. So we at least had that. We also have the factor that she is an extender, and at that point, we can now use Dragon in addition to her. So that way we can have two Harpie monsters that are extenders. Don't you guys love extenders? I mean, that's what we've all been wanting is extenders, and now we finally have them. Just gotta use them. So, yeah, I'm definitely using them. Then we move on from Oracle. We got Nerval and we got Curses. This is help with Link summoning and all the big Link plays that Tri Brigade gives to the Beast family. And for the most part, that's legitimately the only reason why they're here. Because otherwise, this will be definitely some other cards. One Avion and one Sky, one Stormwind. This is simply just the combo with the some more in the extra deck. Negation, and then force your opponent to play with nothing but wind in most decks. At the current time, are maybe playing with wind, but that depends on who they are. The hand trap of choice is Ash Blossom. You don't have to play Blossom, but some do, some don't, and it's all like I said, it's all a player's preference in that case. But Blossom helps some additional negation that Harpies definitely would like to have, and especially because it can help against spells. So yeah. Alright, we move on from there and we go on to the spell cards themselves. The triple hysteric sign, great searcher for the Harpies to get 3 or more Harpie cards back into the hand. The additional effect of this card's access to adding Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard back into your hand. So that's even more fruition that is definitely loved because this is a very beloved spell card, and it just unfortunately is locked behind its once per turn effect. But it is what it is. Next up is Elegant Egotist. In the most part, I've talked about this card with Harpie Lady. In terms of that, the triple is just to match the triple love. Then we have the two copies of Harpie's. I have the two copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground. This is simply just to make sure that in addition with Harpie's Feather Duster, the back row is not an issue. Speaking of which, of course, there is that one copy of Harpie's Feather Duster, which, like I said, for Harpies, back row is not an issue because they have both of their big options to remove back row under their utility. Then we have one Harpie's Feather Rest. Now, in conjunction, I mean, if you want to, it's your choice. You can swap this for um, the Pot of Prosperity, but I think for the most part, I am basically using this card as its additional flow to help out with just retrieving my Harpies. I don't mind the being able to search for things, but I'm also losing monsters in the process. And because of that, with Pot of Prosperity, I know it's the whole risk versus reward thing, but I rather just take my chances and really just go into, okay, you know what? I need this. I'm going to have it. Let's just go from there. And that's pretty much what I'm doing with this because it's going to give me back my Harpies. And, the additional draw is something that is always loved when it comes to cards like this because it's basically just a nerfed Pot of Avarice, if anything. And it's funny that people at first didn't like this card, but I actually did adore this card because it was the little Pot of Avarice that I've always wanted. And I can search for it and do other things with as well. So, yeah. Alright. We move on from that, which is definitely just the one of the next one of is a Laurie Mirror Split, which is more so of a battle spell than anything. The secondary effect is what I use this for because I do not use the first effect. Um, rare occasion if I use this rest effect, because I'm just going to be going for the Harpie monsters at that point. Um, I literally just use this to pop and then go for a Harpie in the graveyard and special summon it, just as most extenders would. So, and then I've already talked about unexpected die. Next up is negation in the forms of Harpie's Featherstorm. Now, if you want more negation, you have your options. There's of course Harpies. There's of course the Forbidden Droplets. I said Harpy Droplets, but Forbidden Droplets, which is a good option if you can afford them. If you can't, of course, there is the option of Dark Ruler No More, which comes out of a nice structure deck as a reprinted common. This card itself is still amazing and just a little more accessible. Your opponent's monsters and effects can't activate in response to the activation of this card. You also have the factor that is negating all the monsters that are currently on your opponent's side of the field that are face up. So that is a little less stress to worry about in terms of big things that you can't really get over, which RPs tend to have that issue of. So yeah, it is more so of if you have this, go for that. And then the other one was Forbidden Chalice. This was something that I seen a while back on a channel, and they're like, "Oh, budget option Forbidden Chalice," and I think that's simply just due to the fact that the budget option above that is supposed to be Dark Ruler No More, but even that has gotten to a point of being expensive. So yeah, it's just your weight of options for the just in case. Other than that, Featherstorm can be searched for. Featherstorm can utilize all of its abilities, and it's a great card for Winged Beast decks and for the Harpies. The last card is Hysteric Party, and that comes in conjunction with Swallow's Nest. It's just, massive summons or summoning things to get things going. With Swallow's Nest, which I would unaffected die over it in terms of this build, because let's be honest, if I wasn't running the Tri Brigade stuff, Swallow's Nest would definitely be in here because it's just a great swap in and swap out. Especially for, the Berry Statue of Stormwind if you want to easily get to it without such hesitation. Being as that is, moving on from that, the Hysteric Party is just basically that one of. I used to love running this card up too, but then there was this problem of having it. You had all these other things that factored in, and just the needing of Hysteric Party just kind of get to the whole everything is a combo piece now. This is kind of more so if you're for the last minute effort, if it's ever needed type of situation. So. Alright, we talked about the main. We can now go into the extra deck. So I think the clear things to just extra deck out the way is Utopia package into Lightning for just a nice beat stick. Zero Fine, massive negator. Chidori, bouncing stuff away. We have the Dragon Lord, which is here to help also bounce things away. Harpie Conductor is just an extender of her own, but she also has a nice defensive ability to protect your Harpies. It's also similar to the fact that Harpies had Phantasmal Dragon. In that sense, it's also a nice barrier and wall as well, because a lot of things you do not want to have to deal with, and that's where this card comes and helps out with. Being as May, I did say when I talked about Fearsome Fire, this monster does not have a level, so it's kind of unfortunately relegated to what it can do through its own ability, which literally its own ability is not bad at all, because it's a great defensive wall. It's just more so of the if you got it, go for it. If you don't, just try something. It's one of those flexible things that if you it's hard to put into words, but let's put it this way. It's a great monster. It just takes a while to make. But once you make it, you better be going for the end game. There you go. Alright. Shirag, easy summon monster. Great standalone winged beast. We got Samorg. Samorg is here, not her, to help bring out the other Harpy monsters. Or to basically bring out the barrier statue or Avion so that you have some of that nice lock. Even though you don't have the Union Carrier anymore, take advantage of what you have, and then just go for it. Fairy Jeet, the Burning Blossom, this lovely lady, and her ability to summon a winged beast, or anyone from the beast family from your hand, that's level 4 or lower, helps out tremendously because that just extends it to more plays. For with Harpies, that's just the wind monster onto the board, so you can go into some work a lot faster. Our big girl, Cyber Slash Harpie Lady. Let's not forget about her because she is still a great addition to the Harpie archetype, being one of the highest level Harpie monsters in terms of the archetype, having the ability to have a quick effect attached to her to bounce back other cards on other monsters or Harpies on the field during either player's turn is great. And I think just for the most part, she's a definite 2-up because she's a definite addition to the deck and can just do so much. And that's also because of the fact that she has such an easy requirement for her summon, which you can take any Harpy monster and use it as a tuner. So you basically don't even need a tuner monster in the deck. I don't know why people were trying to play tuners in the deck when you can basically use your own Harpies as a tuner. So from there, the only other ones to talk about are probably the more expensive variant of it. That's Double A Zeus Sky Thunder, which I know some people don't have access to Thunder. Just try to get the secret that's already out, if anything. Um, Maybe in the future they'll reprint it and it'll be a little cheaper to get, but don't hold your tongue to that. But this is still an amazing monster. That's why I still keep it in this extra deck, just because it's the digital form. And it's a really good monster overall for what it does. Attaching itself to another Exceed monster when has the ability to wipe the board for everything but itself. And then can attach cards to itself so that you can get other things, additional effects, primarily with this card right here. Or in this, no, mainly this one right here, because I forgot this one has to be on the field. This one can still be sent to the field, the graveyard. In addition to that, let's talk about the Arsenal Falcon. So there was some talks about Arsenal, and it's basically just here to help bring out the barrier statue, bring out Perfumer, bring out Channeler, and stuff like that. Just, extending on extending to get stuff onto the board to extend. That's what the Arsenal Falcon is here for. If Arsenal Falcon is not your thing, there are some other options. You do have the other rank 7s in terms of plethora that you can easily use. The Black Lava Dragoon can be one option. Does get its multiple effect. Does get its effect as a quick effect if you have a dragon as a succeed material. Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, not Harpie's Flare Metal Dragon. This monster, just another big beat stick that you can play around with Harpies and has its own protection ability. And then there's always Big Eye if you just want to be a mean person and snatch your other monsters, and then go from there. So like I said, you have options of things you can do and things that you can easily take advantage of with the deck. It's just how much you want to play around with it, and that's pretty much what I'm doing here. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I really wanted to have to do for today's video, and I think I just specified enough. So with that, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all your support. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps out tremendously. Also, hit the notification bell so you guys are informed of when I do upload more content. And you can also you can also follow me on social media. I leave the links in the description box below: Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. Also, there's the Patreon if you want to help out the channel some more and you want to see the channel grow up from where it is now. And that'd be nice. It's an option. You don't have to do it. It's all up to you. But thanks everybody for watching, and of course, I will catch you all next time. HPJ signing out. Take care.